Reviews of WebForDoctors Reputation Management Webinar Series. I am Ira Pasternak, and the president of WebForDoctors. I will be presenting today's webinar. So before we get into the 7 steps, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why reviews are so important. A couple of reasons. First of all, they will help you improve your search engine rank. The way that they do this is really a matter of the quantity of reviews. The more reviews you have, the higher you will rank, all else being equal. Reviews are not the only ranking factor, but they are a very important one within the local results, or specifically the maps results on Google. In addition, the next reason reviews are important, of course, is because they will encourage your prospects to buy, or in the case of urgent care or other medical practices, they will encourage your prospects to become patients. And of course, here, quantity isn't all that matters. Quality is, of course, important, and you'll need to have an overall positive review landscape in order to encourage people to become your patients. Now, this is particularly important if you are an area where you may have a lot of out-of-town people, or if you have a lot of direct competition. These factors are especially important. One last issue we'll talk about here is where you want to get your reviews. And Google and Yelp are going to be the most important places. These are the places that most people tend to go for reviews. They're also because they're the more popular sites, or Yelp is a very popular site. Reviews there play into Google's algorithm even. And in general, if you have an opportunity to send someone to write a review, Google Plus or Yelp is going to be the place that you'll want to send them. However, there are a number of other general directories, many dozens, where people can post reviews. A small sampling would include Angie's List, Bing Local, Insider Pages, Super Pages, Yahoo Local, or YellowPages.com. And then, of course, there are also medical directories, and these are places that are a little more valuable for you. And if you are going to send someone to someplace other than Google or Yelp, either Health Grades or Vitals would be a leading candidate for where you might want to send them. There's other medical directories like ZocDoc, or then there's places that are really just based about rating doctors called the primary example there would be Rate MDs, but there are many other specific doctor directories, or even directories for specific specialties where ratings may be included. That said, unless you have a particular reason why you think one of these smaller directories is important, or if you have a lot of negatives that you need to outweigh, in general, you'll want to monitor these smaller directories, but focus your efforts, again, back on Google and Yelp. All right. So, bad reviews happen to good people. What if this was your patient one day? She's just having a bad day, nothing is going to keep her happy, and some people like this may go home, take out their frustrations in the form of a bad review. Unfortunately, that's going to happen, and because of that is why we want to help you encourage the positive reviews, since in an ideal world, the quality of the medical care you provide and the level of your level of personal attention would be more than enough to ensure that your patients post their glowing remarks and reviews about your practice. But we all know that the reality is that patients need to be gently and subtly encouraged to submit their reviews. And so here are 7 steps that you can take. Now, the great news, one last point before we get into them, is that all of our clients are doing many of these things very well. And the thing that I'd like you to think about today is just how you can incorporate 1 or 2 new ideas into your practice if you're not doing all of these things yet. Or if you are doing them, maybe just think about 1 or 2 ways where you can make some improvements and streamline your workflow, or do something else to improve your review landscape. All right, so number 1, we want you to start with the patients that you know and trust. By starting with a friendly audience, you can kind of ease into the process, help guarantee yourself some 5-star reviews. This can be especially valuable if you do have, unfortunately, any negative reviews and you need to supersede them and stack the deck a little bit. Going with patients who you know and trust can be great. One thing to keep in mind here, these shouldn't just be friends or family, they should be patients who are friends and family. Because a review, if it's not genuine, that will come across in the review more than you often think it will. And so the bottom line is that pretty much all practices, if not family, you're going to have some friends that come as patients, and those are going to be the best place that you can start your process of fixing your reviews or getting better reviews. So moving along, kind of building on number 1, is number 2 is to use a personal touch. We like to say that if you can connect with your patients and make them feel important, you will set the stage for a positive review. Remember, a smile can go a long way. Now, of course, the process of asking for a review is easier. It just comes easier to some people than others. We've got one client that has a couple of different doctors, and one of them is fantastic at asking for reviews, gets a new one practically every week, and the other one only gets a couple a year. They're both nice guys. They both provide comparable level of care. The one that doesn't get a lot of reviews, the reviews he does get, people say similar things. It's just a quantity. And so one thing that you can remember here is that it doesn't always have to be the doctor who does the asking. Pretty much everywhere, every step along the way, from when someone walks into your office through when they're leaving the office, you want to use that personal touch and smile and be friendly. And then what often works best is that if the asking can often come with the final checkout materials, that can many times be the best way to, or the best time when you know someone is happy and they're leaving. That's when you can ask them to post a review. And don't forget, don't be a jerk or a grouch, because if you're not happy, then your patient is less likely to be happy, and you're much less likely to get a good review and much more likely to get a negative review. So remember, a smile goes a long way. Now, when you're doing that asking, kind of back to what I was mentioning, that the person that with the checkout materials is often the best person to be doing that asking. One way to simplify that even is with what we call the low-tech angle. We have these postcards that we use that we can create for you. We've done this for most of our clients, but if you don't have one yet, just let us know and we'll create it. These postcards can be used to simply direct people to your preferred review sites and make it easy for them to find the place that they need to be posting their review. Okay. Now, similarly, you can use the website angle, that's sort of the corollary to the low-tech angle. Here's with this same client, what we've done is in the header of the site, we have icons to their popular or preferred review sites. And then if you, for example, click on the Google Plus page, you will get to a thanks for leaving us a review page, has the links to each of their individual locations, and makes it super easy for your patients to get to that review site. One last note here, some clients are concerned that by putting these links up and these pages up that it will increase the negative reviews also, but what we find is that the negatives really happen at the same rate with or without these links, but making it easy putting these links on your web page makes the positives happen a lot faster. Okay, next, extend to social media. So first of all, social media can be a bit overwhelming at times, we know that. The questions can be, where do you even start, or is it all worth it? What you want to keep in mind is that social media sites can be very powerful communities. They're a place where you can receive kind words from direct connections. You'll therefore can have a little bit more control over the review or the comment than you would on a traditional review site. Excuse me. And And so, yeah, social media is not something that you want to ignore. However, we do recommend that you keep it a little bit simple, you stay focused, and you stay with the most popular sites. So generally for urgent care, Facebook is going to be where your best bang for your buck is going to be. Twitter can be a nice complement also for some people, but only if you're really an active Twitter user and you kind of get how it works. Facebook is much easier for the beginner to learn. LinkedIn is also very valuable, especially for the occupational medicine side, where with LinkedIn you can get recommendations from your connections that can be very valuable. One last thing, you can share your positive reviews on your Facebook or other social media presence. So if you have positive reviews on Google or Yelp, you can link to the Google or Yelp page occasionally, or even to a specific review if there's no concerns with HIPAA privacy information in the review content. You can at any time you can use linking your reviews to your Facebook to bring it full circle and to help promote your positive perception. Okay, moving along, turn on your detective glasses. So what we mean by this, there's a number of things you can keep an eye out for that will help you in the process of getting more reviews. One example would be to look for someone that has a Gmail address. Anyone that has a Gmail address, by definition, has a Google account, and it's very easy for them to post a review on Google. Only takes about a minute to sign up if you don't have one, but saving that minute, of course, we're all busy, and people will appreciate that and will be more likely to post the review. So Gmail users, send them to Google rather than Yelp or somewhere else. In addition, if someone is a big fan of you on social media, meaning they comment on or like your Facebook posts or interact with you in other ways on your social media presence, then that would be a great person, whether through the social media channel directly or the next time you see that person, you know they're a big fan, asking them to post a review will often be an easy thing to do. One last thing here, if someone mentions to you that they're an active Yelp user or what's called an elite Yelp user, that person's review on Yelp will rise to the top above even some that are more recent by people who are not active on Yelp. So anyone that mentions they're active on Yelp is a great person to ask to post there. Just keep in mind, Yelp is a community and people do take it pretty seriously. You never want to bribe someone, you never want to nag them. If you ask them once or twice politely, that's one thing, but beyond that, if they're not going to do it, they're just not going to do it. Finally, number 7, keep at it. So the tortoise and the hare is a story that many of us heard growing up. The moral of the story, for those of you who don't, is that the slow and steady approach of the tortoise will beat the hare in the long run. And marketing, and especially reviews, is a marathon, not a sprint. The slow and steady approach will excuse me, the slow and steady approach will win in the long run. You may get a spurt if you have a giant spurt of reviews. You may get a boost initially, but if you then don't keep with a steady flow of new reviews, you will end up losing in the long run. Now, of course, while the slow and steady approach is nice, a not so slow and steady, but also steady approach is even a little bit better. So at WebForDoctors, what we try to do is help you put some wheels on that tortoise, speed things up, and improve your marketing results in your process on a every day, every week, every month basis. So with that, we are done with the webinar. Thank you for attending and have a great day.